It's been a bear of a week in California politics. I'm Elex Michelson. This week, the issue is the circus comes to the Golden State.
That we're going to need beastly changes.
Republican John Cox is with us to talk about why he decided to campaign with a bear, whether he regrets it, and where he goes from here. Plus, our powerhouse panel standing by, Carla Marinucci of Politico, attorney Areva Martin, and Joel Pollak of Breitbart. The issue starts right now.
Broadcasting across California, California's only statewide political show. You're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Elex Michelson. This week is one that we will not soon forget in California politics. It's when the recall got real and a little strange. Caitlyn Jenner making her national TV debut as a candidate in an interview with Sean Hannity that's been seen by millions. More on that a little bit later. But we begin with Republican John Cox's rebranding of his campaign as Beauty versus the Beast, including a campaign appearance with a 1,000-pound bear named Tag, who he says is part of the Screen Actors Guild. John Cox is back with us, or should I say, the Beast is back. Beast, welcome to The Issue Is.
I'm the nicest, friendliest beast, though, Alex. Remember that, too.
All right. I know you want to talk policy, and there are serious issues to get to, and we will get to them.
There are.
But let's start with that bear. Walk me through the thought process where you decided, I want a 1,000-pound bear by my side.
It's a symbol, Alex, of the beastly changes we're going to need to make in this state. Listen, you know, we've had celebrities, we've had politicians, and the quality of life in this state continues to go down, you know, with the tax burden, the lack of water, the lack of electricity, the schools, our businesses shut down, the homelessness epidemic, all of these problems. So the bear is there as a symbol. I think it's a wonderful animal, by the way. It's well taken care of. It's also a symbol of the fact that the voters are starting to wake up from their hibernation. You know, They keep electing these career politicians, and then they wonder why quality of life doesn't benefit.
So the bear was supposed to appear with you the rest of the week, and then it only appeared for that one day. Why just the one day?
Well, because the campaign is not about the bear. It's a symbol of the beastly changes. We're going to have it again. I think we'll have it next week. Oh, yeah. But we're not going to have it all the time. You know, first of all, it's expensive. You know, it takes a lot of care. We have to, by the way, Alex, we have to have somebody, which is fine. We have to have somebody from animal rights there to make sure it's not being mistreated. And it was not being mistreated. It was being very well treated. Yeah. But, you know, there's a symbol. And let me tell you, it's worked. People are paying attention, Alex, and that's what I want. We have got to get the voters to pay attention that their quality of life depends upon who they elect and who they vote for.
So there was this big ad buy, over $5 million for this ad out with the theme Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure a lot of our viewers have seen it, but here's part of it.
We chose pretty over accomplished.
Pretty boy, pretty boy.
We chose beauty over brains. This ain't working. We need to choose someone who can fix this place.
So is your argument that Governor Newsom is just too handsome to be governor? Is being good looking a disqualifier?
No. The argument is that he's all about personal ambition, and which he is. I mean, that's rightly acknowledged.
Are you not, though?
He wants to.
I mean, aren't all politicians for personal ambition?
Absolutely not, Alex. Listen, this is costing me money. This is taking time away from my family and my businesses, which I'm happy to do, because I want to fix this state. I don't have any ambitions about being president. I don't have any ambitions about, you know, moving up the political ladder. I don't have any ambitions about making money from this, like writing a book or something like that.
But didn't you literally run for president?
Well, because I was upset about George W. Bush's mismanagement and corruption. Let me tell you, that was legion, and that's why I did that. So every race that I've ever run, Alex, it's about going after people who are corrupt. I ran in Chicago for the same reasons, corruption. I can't stand corruption. And as you know, by the way, I'm calling out Republican as well as Democrat corruption.
Well, let me just ask one more question about that beast branding, because you've been on this show literally since week 2, one of our more frequent guests, one of the nicest guys we've ever had on the show. And that's
Thank
meant as
you.
a compliment,
Thank you.
not as a negative thing.
Thank you.
I don't think of
I'm
you as
not
a
a pretty
beast. I think
boy.
of you as a handsome guy, a nice guy who just has different policy views from Governor
not a pretty
Newsom.
boy. No.
You know, where does that phrase, beast, where does that come from?
Because we have to be a beast about corruption and about misspending, about budgetary problems. Listen, Elex, the people of this state are way overtaxed, and they know that government is wasting money. You can talk to my business associates and my investors. They will tell you I am a beast when it comes to anybody wasting money or using money inefficiently.
Well, so you're not only running, you're actually not even running against Governor Newsom, you're running against the GOP field right now when it comes to the recall. What do you make of the GOP field? What do you make of Caitlyn Jenner, Kevin Faulconer?
This is going to be me against the pretty boy, the beast against the pretty boy. It's not a, listen, we've had career politicians like Mr. Faulconer. We've had celebrities like Ms. Jenner. They haven't worked. They haven't gotten the job done. There's dozens of states, by the way, Elex, including blue states like Maryland and Massachusetts, that have elected business guys, and they're popular.
But voters had the chance to elect you last time, and you lost by 24 points. And there are some
They didn't know who I was
in your party that say, you know, it's time to try something new. You had your shot. What do you say to them?
I got millions of votes, and I'm starting with that base and working upwards. Listen, I wasn't a household name. I wasn't a career politician like Mr. Newsom. I wasn't a celebrity. People had to take some time to get to know me. Still, I got almost 5 million people to vote for me, and I think I'm going to start with that base this time.
Back during that campaign, we talked a lot about your mom. And on this Mother's Day weekend, I think it's worth bringing that up again and talking about your mom and maybe sharing with viewers and voters how she influenced you.
My real father left her holding the bag, didn't take responsibility. That was horrendous when I look back on it. And she was strong. She was a rock, and she cared about people. She chose to go back to the school that she went to on the south side of Chicago to teach these kids, mostly African American, and to get them into a love of reading. She went back and sacrificed in many ways because she wanted to help those kids. My God, if what I'm doing today is something that is a tribute to her, I hope she's looking down and believes that I'm doing the right thing for her.
All right, and just to wrap things up, you know we like to have fun on this show as well, and we like to play some music.
I do know that.
And we're grateful you have a good sense of humor. So this week, our song for you is from The Jungle Book.
For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.
That's great.
It's a week we will not forget. John Cox, thank you. And usually I say to everybody, stay safe on the campaign trail. But for you, I really mean it. You got a bear hanging around.
Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Up next, Caitlyn Jenner going viral, talking about her airplane hangar friend leaving the state. We'll talk about that and more with our panel. You see them right here standing by. Carla Marinucci, Areva Martin, Joel Pollak. A great group when we come back.
My friends are leaving California. Actually, we're at my hangar. The guy across right over from me, he was packing up his hangar. I said, where are you going? And he says, I'm moving to Sedona, Arizona. I can't take it here anymore. I can't walk down the streets and see the homeless.
Caitlyn Jenner on Sean Hannity this week. Carla Marinucci called that, quote unquote, hangar pains in Politico. Let's talk about that with our panel this week. All of them returning favorites. Carla Marinucci is California's senior writer in the Golden State for Politico. She co-writes the California Playbook, available every weekday morning for free. I read it every day. You should too. Areva Martin is an attorney, author, activist, co-founder of the Special Needs Network. She's also the host of the digital show called The Special Report, which is available Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. on Facebook. There she is with Dolores Huerta. Pretty cool. Joel Pollak is senior editor-at-large for Breitbart. He hosts a Sunday night program on Sirius XM Patriot, and his new ebook is out. It's called We Told You So, the first 100 days of Joe Biden's radical presidency. Welcome all, Joel. Congratulations on being such a fast writer. Carla, let's start with you. Your assessments of that Caitlyn Jenner interview.
Well, I mean, look, the reality star got a reality check this week on what it's like to run for public office in California. This is the big show. And she backed into it this week with that interview with Sean Hannity. You know, she did embrace Trump. She embraced the wall. She kind of went MAGA on the whole issue of immigration. But that didn't really make the news as much as that viral comment on the private airplane hangar friend who wanted to leave because he couldn't stand looking at homeless people anymore. It was one of those sort of let them eat cake moments in which she may have outgavined Gavin on the French Laundry. And, you know, the real question is, did she take away the big hammer that the Republicans have been using against Gavin, that French Laundry incident? Did she seem out of touch? I think that she's going to have to get past this one, Elex, and fill out the real details of her campaign. She didn't do it on the Hannity show. And she's, you know, it's not going to be keeping up with the Kardashians. She's going to have to answer from people like you, sit down with people like you and answer details about how she's going to run the state. That is a very big lift for her ahead.
Well, thank you for the plug. And we have invited Caitlyn Jenner on the show, and we hope that she'll join us next week. But Joel, I know you have a different take on this and think that the mainstream media may be missing the mark here.
Well, I think they're missing the mark in one respect and perhaps hitting it in another. And I think Caitlyn Jenner's point, which again was taken out of context, was that homeless people and tent cities are proliferating all over California, and whereas wealthy people used to be able to ignore it, it's now in wealthy neighborhoods here in Los Angeles and elsewhere. So it's becoming a problem that really is something people are very concerned about, not just because it's unsightly, but because people feel unsafe. But where I think the criticism might be accurate, where Caitlyn Jenner needs to hone her message, is the major issues driving Republican voters right now in California. They include the shutdowns, they include immigration, but those law and order issues, public safety, school openings, school closures, we didn't hear enough of the hammer really being brought to those issues.
This is California with a very diverse population, and if she has any chance of winning, she's got to speak to people like the people like me, African American. She's got to speak to Latinos. She's got to speak to Asians. She's got to speak to marginalized populations, and nothing in that interview spoke to any of those demographics.
Meanwhile, John Cox, who was just on the show before you guys with the big unveiling of the bear this week. Carla, you were there. You got to meet the bear.
I did.
In person. What did you think about that whole experience? Does that work? Is that an effective PR strategy?
I mean, look, I've been covering California politics for a long time. I got to tell you, Alex, this ranks up there with one of the weirder moments I've ever witnessed. I mean, 1,000-pound bear roaming around untethered around the press corps. I mean, I think a lot of people would probably like that idea. But the fact is, John Cox's message kind of got big-footed in this whole event. He's got a challenge. He went around the state without the bear after that event and found himself alone with a couple of reporters. So his message has got to be honed, and he's got to figure out how to make that stick. I think your scoop with him about going out with the bear next week is interesting because he got a lot of blowback from animal rights groups, and I think we can expect to hear more from them. That may turn into the big moment for him, actually.
Joel, you're more in touch with Republican voters than anybody else on this panel. Does this work? Is there an appetite for John Cox?
Well, in a crowded field, as I said before, with so many candidates, these sorts of gimmicks do tend to work, even if people don't like them, even if there are animal rights activists who are upset about the bear. He's clearly getting a lot of attention, and it's how you have to compete, I think, with a reality TV star. So hats off to him. The problem he faces is that he ran last time and finished well behind Gavin Newsom. So you're going to have to see some enthusiasm behind one of these candidates, and unless he's got another circus animal to bring to the race, I don't know if you're going to see that.
All right, our panel returns. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the love running out between President Trump and Facebook. We're going to debate the choice to keep him off the site and whether Silicon Valley has too much power. Stay with us.
Why are you on Facebook? Why are you on Facebook? Why are you on Facebook?
Van Morrison releasing new music this week. His song is called Why Are You on Facebook? It's clear he's not a big fan of big tech. President Trump still not on Facebook after the company's independent review board agreed with Mark Zuckerberg's initial decision to kick the president off the site after the January 6th insurrection. But they want Facebook to provide more clear standards and review all of this again in a few months. Let's talk about this with our panel, Carla Marinucci of Politico, attorney Areva Martin. But let's start with Breitbart's Joel Pollak. Joel, your reaction to that move by Facebook. Is this fair?
No, it's ridiculous. And the problem that Facebook and Twitter and these other social media companies are running into is they're starting to behave like governments. They control so much of the public sphere. They really ought to allow people to express themselves, but they are so clearly on one side of the political divide and using their immense power to censor alternative points of view that this is really starting to get people upset. And it's not just the president who's being dropped from Facebook. It's pro-life news sites like LifeSite News, which was dropped this week. People who simply share stories that Facebook doesn't like get dropped. This is not how we want our public discourse to happen, and there's going to have to be some kind of intervention.
Areva, from a legal perspective, what do you make of this?
Well, you have a First Amendment right, no doubt about that, but you don't have a First Amendment right to be on Facebook. That's not in the Constitution. So all this talk about somehow Donald Trump being denied his First Amendment rights is just, a big distraction. Obviously, he has so many other opportunities to get his message out, to speak freely. He's on Fox News regularly. He's on other media outlets. So I think this is a lot to do about nothing. He violated the community standards set by Facebook, and he's no better than anyone else. If you violate the standards, you get penalized.
Well, I think one of the things the board pointed out is that there are no standards that he was actually deemed to have violated. They didn't say that he violated a particular rule. That's what's confusing about it. That's why Facebook has to come back in 6 months and explain what it's going to do with Trump. I think the problem is that the standards seem to shift all the time. And Twitter also keeps changing its terms of service. So if there's a set of standards and you participate in the forum and everybody understands the rules, okay, you can make the argument, if you violate the rules, you get kicked off. I think in this case, it was not clear what Trump did to violate the standards, and I think that's what people are concerned about.
All right, before we go to break, we want to take a moment to acknowledge this Mother's Day weekend. I want to begin with my mom, Crystal, the heart and soul of my life and the heart and soul of this show. I love her. And go Dodgers, by the way. Carla, this is a throwback picture you want to show us. Tell us a little bit about it.
I mean, this shows what moms do in grounding their family. I'm from a family of Sicilian immigrants. This is our family at our Italian-American bakery in Jersey City, where my mom gave me the motto that has guided my life straight from the movie The Godfather: leave the gun, take the cannoli. And I've been doing it ever since.
And that is little Carla there, was in the middle of that with her mom and her grandmother.
Shorts.
Very cool.
Right.
Areva, we've got a photo of your son, who is the inspiration for the Special Needs Network.
Yeah, first I got to say, Carla, I love your mom and I love that movie. So great picture. Yeah, that's my son, Marty. My son, Marty, is on the autism spectrum and he is my life. He's my inspiration. I have 2 other daughters, so I don't want to forget them on this Mother's Day. And I was raised by 3 amazing women, my biological mother, my grandmother, and my godmother. So a big shout out to grandmothers and godmothers who are raising kids because they play such an important role in so many lives, particularly in Black and brown communities. They are the heart and soul of our family. So big shout out to all of those.
And Joel, we have a photo of the loves of your life.
This is my wife, who, as you can see, is the mother of 2 and also expecting a 3rd, mom-to-be, in a few months. And I'd also like to acknowledge my own mom, Naomi, and my grandmother, Esther, 100 years young, and my mother-in-law, Rhoda, who lives with us and is so helpful and so much fun.
Wow. And mazel tov to you on the new baby.
Yeah, thank you.
We are feeling brand new on this anniversary week for The Issue Is. A quick programming note, next week on The Issue Is, Mayor Pete is back, but he's now Secretary Pete, running the Transportation Department and negotiating that big infrastructure bill. But when we come back here, back this week, a look back at our very first show and some familiar faces there. Do you see them there? We're going to have a look ahead and a look in the rearview mirror as well when we come back. And this is where we get to dance, guys. Look at Joel go. Woo! Thank you for being our first guest on our first show.
Honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about one of the 3 years ago this week, The Issue Is debuted with then Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, and we also had Adam Schiff was with us as well. Schiff making the argument at the time that it was not the right time for Democrats to push impeachment in the House. How about that? Well, also on that week, let's show you the panel that we had. Dan Schnurr was with us, along with Areva Martin and Joel Pollak. Dan, unfortunately, had a prior commitment, couldn't be with us this week, but Joel and Areva are back with us, along with another friend of the show, Carla Marinucci. And on our anniversary, I just wanted to thank each of you for your support of the show over the years. Areva, you've literally been here since week one. You've been one of our most frequent guests. Thank you for everything.
Oh, thank you for bringing such a diverse show with so many amazing guests that cover so many critical issues to Southern California viewers. I've been honored to be a part of this show and to walk with you on this super exciting journey. So good luck and congratulations.
Thank you very much. And Joel, we love having a diversity of views for a respectful debate, and I think you really epitomize that. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And you are a real gentleman, not just on the air, but off the air. I think anyone who follows you on Instagram or Twitter, your social media, really understands you engage with people from a variety of backgrounds in a very respectful and civil way. It's so rare nowadays. So thank you for that.
And thank you. And Carla, you are the best reporter in this state, and you make our show smarter.
Thanks to this great show, you are out there competing with us every day in those political scrums. You are making my life a living hell, Elex, but we love you.
Let's end on that note. We're excited for the next 3 years. Thank you all for watching. And the biggest thanks goes to our, thank you. There we go. Yeah, baby. Our behind-the-scenes crew, including our audio team, working with us every week, making this feel like my glory days. Here they are.